Yeah. What's happening, guys? This is Kelby from the Blackstalgia podcast. This week I'm giving you guys a quick episode. Our schedules are going a little bit crazy right now. We got a lot of big projects in the works, so we just weren't able to meet up. But it's here. I'm here. I'm doing it. And I'm doing it by myself. So my bad for not having video this week. I know everybody who's coming from Snapchat. I'm sorry, but you'll be able to watch this on YouTube. So we might as well just get started now. All right. So a couple of stories that's happening this week. The first one is the rise of NFTs. Okay. Everybody's talking about it. NFT. Everybody's talking about it. So just so you could be aware of how quickly these things move. Here's Jack, Twitter's Jack. He's going to sell his first ever tweet, and the current bid is $2.5 million. So this is news from CNN where he says, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey is selling the first ever published tweet as an NFT, a kind of digital collector's item. Dorsey shared a tweet on Friday with a link to a digital platform called Valuables that allows for the buying and selling of tweets autographed by their creators. The tweet up for bid is Dorsey's first tweet from 2006, which says, "Just setting up my Twitter." So far, the tweet has reached a bid of $2.5 million by Sina Estavi, CEO of Bridge Oracle, according to Valuable's website. So Jack is out here, I want to say, kind of taking advantage of the movement and the moment. But what is the value in digital letters and the fact that it comes from Jack? Because he tweeted it from, or he uploaded his words to his platform from perhaps a computer. There's some bit of this that I'm not understanding. So let's go ahead and find out. So I'm just typing in, what are NFTs? Okay, and this is coming from, let's go to Mashable. What are NFTs? Everything you need to know. So NFTs are the latest cryptocurrency raised these days, with bands like King of Leon releasing their next album as limited edition golden tickets, and the NBA digital collectibles being sold for millions of dollars. They're interesting to collectors and cryptocurrency fans alike, but there is a future. Is there a future? In other words, should you spend actual dollars to invest in a digital trinket? That's exactly what I was saying. Digital. The fact that it's digital, to me, I don't get. There's value in what digital can do for you, but whatever stays on the screen, I just don't understand the value of it. So I'm a little bit confused, but let's keep reading. So it says, what are NFTs? They are non-fungible tokens, and they are a type of cryptocurrency created on a smart contract platform such as Ethereum. They are unique digital objects that can be cool to own or even profitable to trade. Think of them as digital collectible cards. They typically start out as something only enthusiasts care about, but if you get a rare one, it could be worth a lot one day. So what is fungible? That's it. Fungible versus non-fungible. So cryptocurrencies can be fungible, meaning all the currency's units, i.e. tokens, are the same and equal, like grains of rice or dollars. Non-fungible tokens are the opposite. So every cryptocurrency unit or token is unique and cannot be replicated. This fungible property can be used for many things, even certain types of currencies. But the current NFT craze is mostly fueled by digital art and collectibles. People have figured out that a unique digital object can be interesting, cool, and even have a significant monetary value. It's why the space has recently blossomed, encompassing thousands of projects involving artworks, gaming, and sports. So again, I'm going back to my initial question of how valuable is something that's in the air. I own this digital thing. Now, I ask this question, and every day somebody pays for a private DM on OnlyFans. I say that, and every day it happens. Every day somebody is on an app and they can't get past a certain level on the game, and then they pay a certain amount of money to get the next power, to get the next level up, to do this, to do that. So ultimately, there is some value in, but, well, actually, let me take a step back, because everything that I just said is something that does something to you. You want to buy this OnlyFans private DM? All right, cool. I like this girl, or I like this guy, or I like these people's feet, so I want to pay for it because I want to see it. It stimulates me. And now I'm back on the other side of the line, because these people who are buying art. See, here's what it is. Here's what it is. We already have art. We have it in a tangible sense, and we have it in a non-tangible sense, as in you could get on Facebook and see people's art. You get on Instagram and see people's art. So what is the value of you, quote unquote, owning it in a digital landscape where do you own it? That's the real question. Do you own it? A million other people have the same thing that you're looking at on their phone. What's the intrinsic value behind you just saying you've collected it or whatnot? So it is a little bit confusing, and I feel sometimes that these digital crazes that happen so quickly, like 2 weeks ago, this did not exist. I mean, it existed, but it did not exist in the space that we're all living in. But now it does. So, anyways, we're going back to the Mashable argument. Mashable article. So it says, how do I buy or trade NFTs? So NFTs are bought and traded like any other currency based on Ethereum. Only instead of buying some amount of tokens, you buy a single token. To do that, you should start by installing MetaMask, a browser extension that lets you interact with various facets of Ethereum, such as exchanges and dApps, decentralized apps. MetaMask is also a digital wallet for Ethereum and all the tokens created on Ethereum, both fungible and non-fungible. After installing the extension, you should buy some Ethereum. You can do it directly in MetaMask with a debit card or Apple Pay, clicking on Add Funds. Now, let's get off this article real quick. So, something I don't understand is how these cryptocurrencies are quote unquote decentralized, but they are backed by the dollar. And when I say that, I mean Bitcoin would have no value if it wasn't valuable. So if you didn't put your money into Bitcoin, the value of it would not go up because, there's a quote unquote limited amount, but now little Yachty has his own coin. So there's no shortage of Bitcoins or of cryptocurrency. There's no shortage of it. So how valuable is that? Now, I ask that question knowing that the government is able to print money. So how valuable is money in the first place? We are getting somewhere here. So let's go to this real quick. So this is from CoinDesk. So 21 minutes and 41 seconds ago is how long it took American rapper Lil Yachty's new social token, $Yachty, to sell out on Thursday. So the token was listed on social money platform Fayuz, where buyers, most likely fans of the rapper, bought Yachty for $15. I'm still new and learning about the crypto world, but I can tell you I'm partnering up with some very smart people to give my fans some dope experiences, said Yachty in a statement. So according to the Fayuz app, the sale brought in $276,006. Owning Yachty gives fans exclusive access to the Grammy-nominated artist including surprise boxes prepared by his mom, Vanita McCollum, author of the book Raising a Rapper. So token owners can receive a personal item from the rapper's career and participate in online parties with him, according to Fayuz. So I did hear that Lil Yachty was creating his own coin a while back, and I didn't know exactly what it meant and what impact it was going to have. And to hear that number when you're talking about the rap world, like 200 and something thousand, is both a lot and it's not a lot, because these rappers be toting like, oh yeah, in a single night I made $100,000 and I performed 4 times a night. So yeah, but if I'm understanding what this is and what NFTs are, people are going to just continuously trade them until they become more and more valuable. So Lil Yachty is setting up a potential for him to just continuously make money on top of money on top of money without ever really needing to work anymore. It's getting confused. So, I did not know this. Okay, so we're going back to Mashable. They're saying, what are the most expensive NFTs? So in the early days of the space, early days, like a week ago, we saw a blockchain game like Crypto Kitties sell virtual cats for tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Virtual cats. Recently, rapper 3Lao sold a collection of 33 limited edition NFTs for more than $11 million. The musician Grimes, aka the mother of Jarznalu, even sold her digital art collection for $7,500 a piece, totaling $6 million in sales. Yes, these things can get very pricey. So let's go back to my original question. How valuable is an image on your screen? Now, I'm not asking about how an image on your screen can create value for what you're trying to do. I'm actually asking, how valuable is the actual image or the thing on your screen? Like crypto kitties, right? Digital kittens. Well, I used to have that as a kid. Back then it was called a Tamagotchi, or it was called whatever, the little animals that sat on your pocket. You used to put the thing on a keychain and you used to just have it on your belt loop, like a loser. And I had Neopets. Man, this thing is... See, every time I bounce on one side, I get back on the other side. So I can easily ask, how valuable is blank on a screen? And Netflix has created value in blank on a screen. What? Blank on a screen, but it's not in your hand. See, I don't see what Netflix is doing, pushing movies. I don't think is the same thing as what Blockbuster did. They're in similar industries, but I don't think they're the same thing. I think that Netflix is pushing experience, like a current experience, and Blockbuster or a video store was selling you long-term moments, because you could go home with this. Not Blockbuster, a video store. They're selling you these DVDs, they're selling you these videotapes, they're selling you these things that you could go home with and you have it forever. Now we're in the digital space where Netflix, see, the sick thing about Netflix is they control what is on their app and what's not. So back in the day, you were able to just pop out whatever movie it is that you wanted to watch. You want to watch Hercules? Cool. Pop it up, watch it. You could watch it 1,000,000 times. But now You could watch Hercules as much as you want until Disney Plus says, hey, we're not going to stream this anymore. So something about this makes me feel like you are not in control. Something about this digital landscape says, yo, are we just throwing money in the air for what? You know? And how valuable is art in your phone? Is the art in your phone more expensive than your phone? It's Back in the day, art had value because you could lock it up somewhere, you could put it in somewhere, you could go to somebody's house. You're creating this experience, this moment that you go and you see it. I remember as a kid, I went to the Louvre in France, and I saw the Mona Lisa, and this is not the same as just pulling out my phone and looking at something. What if my screen settings are in the wrong settings and I don't even see it the way that the artist intended me to see it? There's just too many questions about this that at a certain point I kind of feel like, yo, do I need to know about about this? Because in a year there's going to be something else that comes along that people say this is super valuable. We're reimagining, rethinking this, rethinking that. Now, I think that there's a need for technology that affects people's lives and offers them value. I just don't see the value in these NFTs. Now, I do understand, if you're a collector and if you're just a, pure capitalist human being where you're like, yo, I could capitalize on this moment because people are just throwing money in the air. Do it, sure. But does that create sustainability? Does that create something that really does redefine the future? I don't know, and I'm not the best person to tell because years ago, I kind of wrote Bitcoin off. I did. I heard about Bitcoin in 2009-ish. And it was fun to hear about, but I just didn't get it. I was like, this is not going to revolutionize the world only because it's still backed by the dollar. There has to be something else that these digital things where they say, hey, yo, this is essentially money that is decentralized, unregulated, so it's not bouncing up and down all day long. Okay, the way that somebody explained it to me is not here in the United States, but there are some countries where you get your paycheck and the value of money, by the time you cash that paycheck, the value of the money disintegrates. It goes away. So this is valuable to those people. Blockchain technology is valuable to those people because they can get their money in blockchain that is decentralized and it doesn't, well, before I finish that sentence, blockchain technology, or at least not blockchain technology, but cryptocurrency it's actually rather volatile. I remember that boom in 2017, December 2016 into 2017, when everybody's freaking out. Yo, Bitcoin hit 10,000. And then for like 2.5 years, it went down. It was back to 3,000. So now it's at 50 something thousand. How can you tell me this right here, it doesn't lose its value? So you're going to want to put your money in this. Is it just like stocks? I have too many questions to be talking to myself. And clearly I'm having a whole conversation with myself, so I'm a little bit nuts. But it's interesting to talk about. I think it's interesting to figure out. But at the same time, I'm not understanding the value that it provides the world in a long-term way. It just seems like another way to redefine what we already have. That's what it feels like currently. But we already have it. So redefining it is either way. that's my rant on NFTs. Everybody's talking about it. Kings of Leon is out here doing great things with this. Anybody else feel like COVID pushed all of these things forward? NFT, blockchain technology, everybody's a professional stock investor now. Like, anybody else feel like COVID just said, yo, look, it's now is the time? And I'm pretty sure it is, because COVID has done similar things to me. I'm not an investor in that sense, but I've invested in other things. I've invested in myself more than anything else. So it's interesting to be in this position. It is. Let's stay on business. So Jay-Z's had a pretty interesting couple of weeks. Jay-Z's had an interesting couple of weeks where he's made millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Congratulations. That's everybody's goal. That's everybody's dream. So this is an article from Hot New Hip Hop where somebody is praising his business acumen, but at the same time saying he's kind of using a specific phrase and term to get people on his side. So let's read this from Hot New Hip Hop. So the blogger praised Jay as a businessman, but disagreed with how Hov allegedly acquires black consumers before selling companies off to white people. So anytime Jay-Z makes a business move, the rap mogul's intentions are called into question. It happened when he announced he was purchasing Tidal. It occurred when he was announced his partnership with the NFL, and new conversations are being had now that it has been shared that Jay-Z and Jack Dorsey have worked out a monumental deal for Square to acquire the majority stake in Tidal, a handshake that reportedly made Jay-Z nearly $300 million richer. So, however, Akademiks, who is the blogger, he has a bone to pick with Jay-Z as the blogger calls him out for allegedly playing both sides of the field. After praising Jay-Z as a great businessman, Akademiks has a few criticisms for the Roc Nation mogul. Jay-Z bought a company. He said it was for black creators. He said Jay-Z shouldn't support Apple, and he said people shouldn't support Apple and Spotify because they're white owned, and he wanted to have something for the culture, for the artist, by the artist, and he wanted to keep it black owned, and he wanted to do it that way. He did many B-side concerts and ish like that, talking about black excellence, black power. You should support him because he owns a black business, even though we found out later when they went to Sweden to Tidal headquarters, pretty much not one of their employees or the higher executive people at Tidal were black. Akademiks noted that Jay made a Tidal deal with Sprint, which I remember that, $200 million, where he reportedly walked away hundreds of millions, 200 million, and now the remainder of the shares now belong to Square. The black-owned Tidal is not owned by Jack Dorsey, the white man. He accused Jay-Z of being a bait-and-switch businessman, adding, "That's the only thing I don't like about the way he does things. He's not doing it for black people. He's doing it for his own selfish means," Akademiks stated. So, a lot of stuff there. So I will start at the very beginning. There's two sides to this story. Side number one is Jay-Z's, where if everything Jay-Z does, he says it's for black people. His idea, I'm not putting words in his mouth, but what it appears that his idea is if I win now, later on in the future, I'm opening the door for other black people to do the same. Okay, got it. And Jay-Z's perspective, based on what he's saying in his songs and the moves that he's making, is because he's black and he has a huge voice in the community. Whatever Jay-Z does, it's good for everybody. But the unfortunate truth is not everybody gets a check. I don't I don't think title was was more about being black owned than it was about artists owning more of their own share of the money. That's what I thought title was about. I didn't push for it to be this black thing because I'm pretty sure I saw Taylor Swift there, and if she's anything, she's the opposite of black. So there's Jay-Z's perspective. Now there's the other side of this, where the average person could say, "Yo, look, you're not us. You're not the average guy. Even the average successful person. Let's say the average successful person who is out of this stratosphere with success, dripping with money, easily maybe makes 900K a year, $1 million. That's like, we're talking extreme success here, okay? Somebody who makes that much money. They're not Jay-Z. And they're not making the type of deals that Jay-Z's making. They don't have the same opportunities that Jay-Z has. But let me take it back down to a less astronomical place. Jay-Z, I think Jay-Z may not be the right person to represent the culture. I know he comes from it, but a lot of times he does appear to be like the person who is simply capitalized off it. And I'm in complete support of that. But I think it's detrimental to speak on behalf of others when you're making these moves. Somebody had left a comment that I thought was interesting. I don't know if I 100% agree with it, but she had said, this guy preaches black love, black this, black that, black excellence, cheats on his wife with a white woman, preaches black growth, black money, black wealth, so on and so forth. Makes a lot of his money from selling drugs back in the day. Now he owns weed companies and alcohol brands. Where's his I Dream school? Where's all these things that are actually helping people if that's what you're preaching about? In Judas and the Black Messiah, there was a moment where he says we're fighting capitalism with socialism. Right now, Jay-Z is portraying pure capitalism. Again, I don't have a problem with that. I don't. If somebody finds value in what you do and you sell it, no problem. No problem. That's the point of the business. You're supposed to make a profit. Now, we live in a kind of interesting world right now where there's a lot of value in simply being black. But we got to be real careful about that. We have to be real careful about how that comes across as people of business. Because when it's all said and done, the world, not just America, the world operates on low overhead and high profit margin. Okay? For a specific period of time, they might spend the dollars on you. But you have to be valuable. And Jay-Z has figured this out. He's figured this out to a T. Now, what's happening right now is he's capitalizing on the value of black people. I remember sending an email to a lady that said, I was trying to get a contract with the law firm to shoot their videos. That's what I do. And she wrote me back and was like, yo, is this a black-owned business? And I was like, yeah, it is. And she's like, cool, I'm gonna fight for you. Nothing came out of it. But I found that moment to be very interesting because I had sent all of my work over and nothing about the work, nothing about the value that I was providing or that I was proposing for her company. There was not a lot of that. There was, in fact, zero of that. And a lot of times in business, you will notice people twist your arm to say, hey, yo, we look the same. Let me get your dollar. Support me. Blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, whatever you're doing has to be of value. So people are not going to just throw their money in the air for something they don't find valuable. Now, I know I just said that about NFTs, but somebody finds value in having art on their phone. Somebody does. Somebody thinks that's valuable. So what Jay-Z is doing is valuable, but who is it valuable for? For himself. Sure. For himself, for his team, for whoever it is that he's working with. I totally understand. But there is this weird place right now where it is very like, hey, yo, just support me because I'm black. And I think you got to support people because they're black and they're great. The future is defined by who provides the most value. And it's not to say that what Jay-Z is doing is not great. I'm sure he's a great businessman. I'm sure his products are, out of here. They're great. Whoever's smoking weed, whoever's drinking his alcohol, whoever's purchasing title, I'm sure is great. But perhaps his messaging has to be different. Perhaps he has to speak about it a different way, because every few months we find out we just feel like we're separating ourselves more and more from Jay-Z or the guy who says that he's doing it for the people. But how about somebody who just says, hey, yo, look, I'm in business. I'm providing things that people want. I'm providing things that people need. I'm solving people's problems, and that's why I'm successful. I think more of the success of black people is going to come from us being simply the greatest at what we do. Because the wave of, I'm going to support you because you're black, is going to end. It's going to end. Nobody says, hey, I'm gonna download Bumble because they have a female CEO. I'm gonna get on blah 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 because they have this CEO or that person, blah blah. That's nice for them, right? But if you just don't think it's valuable to you, if you don't want to pay for it, you won't. So I think for the culture, Jay-Z has to talk more about how he's providing value and how he can educate people to do the same. I saw a very interesting post, and I posted on my Instagram that, let me actually pull it up. Here's what it says. And it's so true. I've been saying the same thing for a little bit now, and it's kind of weird. It says, my whole timeline is get you an LLC. No mention of the product or service at all. Nothing about setting up a website, finding a distributor, e-commerce tips, SEO, or ways to make the business successful. Just step number 1, get an LLC. Step number 2, shrug. Step number 3, shrug. Step number 4, wahoo, generational wealth. And I think that is something that's missing from our culture, from, and it's not black culture. I actually just mean in American culture right now. People are not valuing, number 1, the process, the knowledge, number 2, and the value, number 3. People are not valuing those 3 things. I'm a big person in education. I am. But I don't look at education the same way. I don't look at it as a way of saying, oh, this is such a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. You're going to find that the people who are finding the most success, they have a certain form of knowledge and a way at reviewing things that the next person doesn't have. Now, where you get it from doesn't really matter. So when I say education, I'm not saying, oh, you got to go to college, but finding a way to educate yourself about what you want to do is important. And it diminishes your margins of risk. What you're going to fail at. It starts shrinking those things. And that is one of the things that I think is most important for our people is, how do we start something where we make the least amount of mistakes? especially early on, because we're not always coming into this like Jay-Z is. We're not coming into it with millions of dollars to say, yo, we could fund this company for $100 million. We can make $30 million of mistakes. And then once we figure out the right answer, we're going to make $1 billion. Look, there is nothing more valuable than knowledge. And we don't even live in the technological age anymore. We live in the information age. And you should take these numbers seriously. This is from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So about 20% of U.S. small businesses, they fail within the first year. Now, it's not to say like, oh, yeah, they should have not failed. But why? Why did they fail? By the end of their fifth year, roughly 50% have faltered. And after 10 years, about 1/3 of businesses have survived. Why? Right now, people are starting LLCs like crazy. Why? What are you offering? What are you doing? What problems are you solving? That has to be one of the things that we understand. What are our competitors doing? How are we doing it better than them? How are we providing people more value than them? How are you not the average company? Why are you doing it? A couple lessons that I've learned recently is intention behind the team. Intention behind the team. The team is so valuable. It is the core and the essence of your business. Why you're doing something can change everything. And currently, we live in a society where most people have a very poor mentality. And I don't say that, I don't say that to say like, oh, I'm better. No. I'm saying that because it's true and I've experienced it. When you start something on your own, very few companies are just, one-man bands. A lot of times, some people have a talent in A, other people have talent in B, and then you come together, you make C, D, E, right? But oftentimes businesses fail when they're partners because, oh man, this person didn't do this right. This person was lazy, so on and so forth. Your intention is everything. And we live in a world right now where a lot of people do not put value on top of their heads. They go to work for the paycheck. And I get it. That's the point, right? Go to work, do your job barely. Do 40% of your job just so you have enough to come back to tomorrow. Get your paycheck, go home. Invest in the stock market. Build generational wealth. I'm going to be rich, right? Why should I work hard? They're paying me minimum wage. Why? Listen, minimum wage, what it is in the name. It's the minimum. You could put a lot of effort in and still get minimum wage. I understand that. But you have to assess the position. I know we're talking about Jay-Z, but I'm going off right now, but you have to assess the position. Everything is supply and demand. So I understand that the person at McDonald's flipping burgers may not be incentivized to work very hard because, number one, it's not a very demanding, it's not let me put it this way. McDonald's can fire their whole staff right now, the burger flippers, and replace everybody, train them all in 24 hours. Nobody will know the difference between their burgers. Nobody will know the difference between their fries. Nobody. And people have to create a certain value for themselves where they're not in that position anymore. Now, if you are the hardest working burger flipper, trust somebody's looking. Because you know what it is? It's a mentality. It's a mentality that creates value. Not necessarily your skills. Skills can be transferred. Somebody could teach you how to do things, right? They can. But it's the mentality behind it. What does that mean? You're a great burger flipper. You do your job well. You QC everything, quality control, making sure everything is right all the time. Right? Your boss is going to say, hey, man, that person right there has leadership mentality, has the ability to lead. Maybe then you become shift supervisor. I know it's not a big jump. You're still working at McDonald's. But you become shift supervisor. Then you become, I don't know, McDonald's store manager, whatever they call it. Now, you have this under your belt where, yeah, I did start off flipping burgers, but I had a valuable mentality where I said, yo, look, anybody can do this job. Anybody can. But I'm the only person that can do it the way I did it. And that's by making sure that the quality of the service around me was top tier. I created value in myself. And the next person who's on top of you is going to teach you the ways. They will. I get it. No, they're going to say, no, they're not. They're not. I get it. I know. But let's say you are working at McDonald's and you say, man, they paying me the minimum wage. I'm going to do the minimum work. Guess what? I don't even got to say it. I think if we're taking it back to Jay-Z, whenever he's doing his business dealings, congratulations on your business dealings, man. But you know what? People also support Rihanna's business dealings. People support Drake's business dealings. People support Nas's business dealings. And they don't ever have to say they're doing it for me. They never do. And I think that when you say you're doing something for somebody, people start putting their hands out and say, yo, if you really were doing it for me, you got to show me what you did for me. Right? I think we have to restructure. I don't even like that word, but we got to restructure the value that we are proposing to the people. Stop telling me you're doing it for me. I don't even know how you did it. I don't even know why. So we have to create a system where people can educate one another. And it's already existing. I mean, with YouTube and some of these guys, I think it's called Create Your Leisure. People are already creating value for one another. But when you see somebody who's that person, hey, yo, support me, man, I'm black. Well, what's the value behind what it is that you're doing? Now watch this. In that Drake and Future Life is Good video, there's something that I saw in there that I didn't like. Future was saying, I'm serving fiends. I'm making money. I'm booking studio times. I'm serving fiends. Now look, there's value everywhere you go. There's value in everything good and everything bad. I don't know if I have to continue. I would like to see our culture place value on being valuable. We're almost there. And I mean that even in a larger sense. Yo, why are people fighting? Let me not get into it. All right. Third stimulus check is on the way. This is from CBS News. The U.S. Senate approved President Biden's $1.9 trillion coronavirus stimulus package Saturday. directing a third round of stimulus checks to most Americans. That's prompting questions about when the checks might land in millions of bank accounts, especially for those who are coping with job or income loss. The bill will return to the U.S. House of Representatives this week for final approval, given that the Senate and House versions of the relief bill have some differences, and then head to Mr. Biden for signature. After the bill is signed into law, the IRS can begin delivering checks within days to 1 week. Based on the time frame for the previous round of checks, potentially as early as the weekend of March 13th. By next weekend, a couple making less than $160K will have $2,800 deposited into their checking account, said Chris Kruger of Cohen & Co. Okay. The passage of the spending bill is the Senate was heralded by anti-poverty and unemployment experts. You know, there's something that I saw recently that really troubled me. I went to go shoot some headshots for somebody, and I live in the Valley in LA. And if anybody lived in the Valley in LA about 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago or so, now let's say 10 years ago, there was something you didn't really see, and it was homeless people. Maybe one, two. I used to work at this used car lot with a guy named Chuck. He was a homeless guy. He was a cool dude, super smart guy, super smart. I don't know what he's doing now. Hope he's okay. But I went to that spot where I shoot outside, one of my favorite spots, and it was filled to the brim with homeless people. I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm talking about there wasn't a spot on the sidewalk. And it made me think about what is happening. What is happening? The rate of homelessness in America, in California, it's astounding. It's astounding. In 2017, California had an oversized share of the nation's homeless population. 22% of homeless Americans lived in California. I bring that up because what is anti-poverty? What is it? What are these systems that we've created that are good for some, bad for a lot? What are they? I'm glad we're all going to get some money. I'm glad. I need it. Everybody needs it. I get it. I hope everybody invests in GameStop and becomes billionaires and starts an LLC and sells something somehow. And does it for black people. But when I think more and more about this stuff, I just don't know what's going to happen, and it makes me scared. It makes me scared because California is one of the states that appears to care the most about their people. We have super high tax rates, a lot of government programs, so on and so forth. And yet, it really makes me quite sad, because the rate of homelessness in the past 2 years is it's insane. And having the opportunity to work with some homeless people for quite some time, it made me realize that it's not throwing money at them and whatnot that's solving the problem. There's a different problem. Or building infrastructure. Do you know how many empty buildings there are in LA? Just empty. Nobody's in them. And homeless people know that they exist. They know those buildings are there. I know they know because I have guided them personally, and they'll say, I'm not staying there. There's a different problem in the world right now, in our world. And I don't know what it is. But it's not the money. It's not. Or at least it's not 100% the money. It could be something else on top of the money, but we're noticing that money is not creating solutions for a lot of people. And I actually think where the money is coming from might be the biggest issue. Where? Why? How? Again, I go back to saying that we live in a world that is devoid of value, where people get upset if somebody comes up with something valuable and capitalizes off of it, where most people who walk around valueless demand more. Some people can't solve a problem to save their life and want more. And then they won't put any effort. But they want more for less. I'm glad we're all getting money. But does it scare me? Yeah, it scares me a little bit. It scares me a little bit. I don't know why. I just think about those homeless people that I saw everywhere I go. In the valley. 10 years ago, this did not exist. In the valley. That's crazy. Whole sidewalk, both sides filled. Where is this coming from? Couldn't tell you. So either way, I know we're going to praise Biden for this, and good job, I guess. This is the third round of stimulus checks, so, okay. Thanks. Any last words that I may have for you guys? This I'm sorry that this was a little bit more serious than expected, but I have a lot of things to say, and I just wish I could say them, but I can't. Last thing I'll say is Meghan Markle was on Oprah. If you don't know who Meghan Markle is, she is the Duchess of Sussex. She is a former actress who was on White Collar, I want to say. Damn, she's 39. I had no clue. She's married to Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, a 36-year-old ginger-haired man. Oh, crap. I don't know if ginger is offensive. Red-haired man, orange-haired man. And she went on Oprah and she said that there were conversations. She didn't want to say who, but she put her little acting face on and, made it known. You know what I mean? That there were conversations about how dark Archie, who is her and her husband's kid, how dark his skin was going to be. So this is an article from People. It says Meghan Markle says that her son Archie was denied a royal title and royal protection, and that there were concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born. In her sit-down conversation with Oprah Winfrey, which aired Sunday on CBS, Meghan Markle said that the palace decreed that Archie, who turns 2 in May, would not have any title, a move she says was different from protocol. They didn't want him to be a prince, which would be different from protocol, and he wasn't going to receive security. What's more, she says, we have a tandem, the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns a conversation about how dark his skin might be when he's born. Now, this is interesting because Meghan Markle ain't really that dark. I mean, she's not, she's a mixed woman, but she's married to, pretty much a see-through guy. So what gene did you think was popping out? Now, I understand that there's a possibility for the baby to just randomly be darker than expected. But, okay. Look, I don't know what the queen does. I don't know the purpose of the queen. I don't know the purpose of the royal family. I don't know. But what I do know is the queen is about 90 something years old. Are you surprised? When was the last black English royalty? Interesting. Type that in. So let's see who Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz is. And she's white. She's powdered white. Listen, man. There's 2 things that apply in this very specific situation. Number 1, it's a family thing. Got to keep it in the family. And number 2, unfortunately, nobody wins when the family feuds. Sad news, but it's true. I don't know why Meghan Markle went out and said these things. I don't know if Oprah is protecting her. If Oprah can protect her, I don't know. Oprah's practically royalty to us, sort of. So, but I don't know why. I don't know why this was a smart move on her behalf. Because if you're going to get on Oprah, you might as well just say, yo, the queen told me that she ain't like I was black. Just say it. But you didn't. I don't know. So, that is that. I don't have a whole lot more to say. I don't have a song of the week for you because I'm just recording on an H4n. But I'm glad to have you here. I hope this sparked any kind of thought in your mind. I'm here to have a conversation. If you're coming from Snapchat, I will upload this whole episode on YouTube with just some photos. And if you are on our Instagram page, my bad. I probably post some memes. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.